Attention shoppers, we've got to clean up on Aisle H.
What the other wolves think?
A true crime cleanup on Aisle H.
Diabolical.
Starting now.
No, he's telling you that she's bats.
Howdy, old heads. Kurt Money here, alongside my co-host,
Kateline.
And we're here to discuss a show we've never talked about before called Deadliest Mums and Dads. Now, I know that Kate's thrilled to talk about this. She's been friggin' champing at that bit.
Champing.
Am I right? I mean, I don't remember the last time you were this excited to talk about an episode.
It's true. It's true.
I almost don't know what to do with the enthusiasm. I'm kind of like taken aback by it.
Okay, well, I can play it cool.
No, don't. You listen, you play it real. You play it friggin' real, Kate. That's all we want here. All right, so let's see. Before we talk about the show and everything, I'm going to read you the IMDb description. This aired originally April 30th of 2022. I think on Discovery Plus. It's on one of those things. I mean, there's a Discovery Plus credit at the end. It's on HBO Max right now if you want to peep. Mm-hmm. And it's called Deadliest Mums and Dads.
Yep.
So, I mean, keep that in mind, whole heads, when you're thinking about where does this originate. Okay, here we go. Kansas City police make a horrifying discovery in a local wasteland when they find the body of a young child. When the young girl is finally identified, it leads to a shocking truth. Kate, what did you think of this episode?
Well, I loved this. And I know we've said it before, but I just need to clarify. We don't love murder.
Of course not.
When I say that I loved this case is, like a lot of murders, devastating.
Yeah.
But it's the show that we're talking about.
The show and certainly some of the participants.
Yes.
I mean.
Yes.
Okay.
So, right off the bat, I was searching it up, Deadliest Mums and Dads. I'm like, great, it's British. Mm-hmm. Then I realize I have watched 5 of them, and this one I actually was 4 minutes into at some point.
Really?
Yeah, but I didn't.
Wow.
I didn't finish it. I probably wasn't paying attention because had I been, I would have finished it.
Yeah, I think there's 2 seasons on HBO Max. I think 1 or 2 more is on the list, but this was the first one. And what's funny is in our text, when you're like, "Wow, you're so thrilled, you're taking notes and stuff." You're like, "I don't want to forget stuff." You were shocked that I sat on it because I've been sitting on this for months now.
Yes.
And the only reason is because it has an appearance of a future nominee for the Lesties that we had just discussed. So we'll wait to get there. But trust me, I was ready to talk about this then, but I was like, no, Kurt, just wait. We can't do this back to back. Just sit on it and wait.
Okay.
All right. So, but yeah, it was good stuff. When I Googled for the description, it called it Britain's Deadliest Mums and Dads, but that's not what it is.
No, because this is Kansas City, Missouri.
Excuse me, Kate. According to this show, it's Kansas City, USA.
April 2001 in Kansas City, USA.
Which I think is the first stop for the idea that it's a British show and things that I love.
Mm-hmm. Because those Brits, they didn't know if they were in Missouri or Kansas. And they were like,
they don't give a
just put
Yeah.
USA. But it was Missouri.
But I love that because whenever I'm listing a place in England or something, I'm always like, how many of these places do I say? Because it seems like there's 4 things. Mm-hmm. And there's a British Kurt Money on the other side of the pond doing the same thing, going, Missouri? Is that what MI is? We don't have to mention that. Was it Kansas City, USA? So I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's funny.
Okay, our story begins Kansas City, USA. Chief Detective David Bernard. He's just trying to enjoy his Saturday night, damn it.
I was just hoping that I'd have a few hours of peace and relaxation at home, but that was not to be.
Already this guy's off on the wrong foot with K-Mun, as we know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Are you being inconvenienced? Is a murdered and beheaded child really messing up your plans?
He's going to change that tune once he gets involved. I mean, if we can give David Bernard credit for anything, he went above and beyond for this, more than we usually see with head detectives and stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, I've got a few opinions here and there on him and what went down, but he did come around. But I was cracking up. I was like, dude, why'd you start the story like this? He gets a call that says 2 deputies were looking for like an escaped old man that was wandering around.
2 police officers were searching a wooded area for an elderly man with dementia who'd gone missing. They don't find the man.
Hopefully he was okay.
Yeah. Now, what did we find in the local wasteland, as the description said? I'm sorry, it was not. It was like a wooded area on the side of a road with neighborhoods.
Is that just what the Brits call, like, foresty,
Maybe.
like median between neighborhood and highway or something.
I guess, but I don't know. The word wasteland shocked me just a second ago when I read it. Because it's not.
Yeah, to me, that's like a barren desert full of garbage.
Yes, and not a person within 50 miles, let alone 50 feet.
Yeah.
Like, we see plenty of this. This is a freaking neighborhood. Okay, so what do they find in this wooded area?
They find the body of a child. There is no head attached to the body.
Yes, and they ballpark it as it's the body of a young girl between 3 and 4 years old, naked, no friggin' head. It's now when we meet Marla Bernard, wife of David. She worked at the police station.
Sergeant Bernard's wife, Marla, who'd been a reserve in the police department, was there when the call came in.
And so this is when I laughed to myself going, so wait, David Bernard's most coveted time when he was at home alone without his wife. Because she was still at the office.
Wow.
What do you think?
That makes him look even worse.
It does. I wonder what Marla thought when they... I don't know. It made it sound like he's like, I enjoy my family time. It's like, no, this is David time.
This is him in his man cave alone.
Absolutely. I could definitely tell they shot his talking heads at their house because behind him in the background was some sort of wild oil painting that involved geese. I feel like you involve geese in some sort of painting and stuff. I don't know. Am I being mean to old people who like ducks? What do you think?
Boomers, they love geese in their paintings. They love boats.
Oh, yeah. But there's some geese back there. I said, I wonder if we're in the spot where Bernard was when he got the call. But anyway, based on insect activity, he can tell the body's been there a while. And I will say, thankfully, we don't have any talking heads from any podcasters or anything like that. There is one talking head that shouldn't be there. Do you know who I'm talking about? Not our boy. I already know there's the one guy we're going to talk about. He belongs here every step of the way. But there's a British criminologist that they cut to for insight on stuff that is not needed. This is the first thing he brought to the table. The head is the symbol of identity. Oh, is it now? Oh my God, dude. Tell me more.
The head is, of course, the symbol of identity. The face is who we are.
Wait, I've never thought about this. This is why you have your degree, please.
Is it a symbol or is it literally?
Yeah. We do not need this kind of insight with this packed of a story.
We do not. But I did notice that this happened a few times throughout. A lot of it was our detective, but things were explained to this audience like they wouldn't have ever heard of murder before.
That definitely David Bernard is guilty of that, and I've written him down because there's a few times where I'm like, duh, dude, you think we were born yesterday?
No doy.
Yes.
If we are even 6 episodes into this show, we would know that. If this was the only show we'd ever seen.
Yeah, that's true. Now, here we go. Now we meet ALONZO WASHINGTON, unofficial crime activist, and dare I say official all-star of the episode.
He did end up being the all-star. However...
What's up, Kate?
At the beginning, I was thinking, why this guy?
My name is ALONZO WASHINGTON. I'm an anti-crime activist. I've been an activist since I was 16.
Local resident Alonzo Washington unofficially helps with crime detection in the area.
This guy... I can only really describe as a local folk hero.
Yeah.
He's clearly very passionate about helping his community. And he just chooses very bizarre ways to do it that you would never consider. But he's a really creative guy who just has to do something creative at all times, it seems. So he's got comic books that he makes and all sorts of artwork that it's unclear if he has a big subscriber base or if he's doing it just for the passion of it. But a lot of it is it has to do with civil rights or helping children, or it's just all community based. And he himself looks like a comic book character.
Oh, he's got a look to him. He's got a friggin'
his
look to him.
hair.
What's out there?
His hair was very interesting. It looked glued.
Glued. It looked like the sides were kind of pushed forward.
It looked like parts of it had been filled in, and then the whole top was like shellacked down to where if you knocked on it, it would be like a hard surface. That's what it looked like.
Absolutely. But then his beard was, I mean, I would never say unkempt. I think that would break his heart if he heard me say that. But it wasn't a trim beard. It was kind of a fluffy beard, would you say?
I feel like maybe he was trying to look like one of the characters in his comic book because I got the impression he is a character in his comic books. But then when we saw some B-roll of him at home, it got even weirder.
He was at home watching the news one night, and there was a story about a beheaded 3-year-old found in the woods. And he was shocked because it was like the third or fourth, it was like a buried story on the news.
It was like third or fourth story on the news. And I was like, well, I have to change that.
I think that is completely valid. That is what you lead with, especially in a place like Kansas City. It's like, construction on the freeway is not as important of a story as this. This is huge.
Yeah, and he takes it, and like he says, he's 1,000% an activist, and this is a good example of it. This becomes his mission now to keep this in the news as long as it takes, because he's right where it's like, it's not what's it called, like white girl syndrome or whatever. Like, it's the body of an African-American kid that sometimes the news will overlook because it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, these are stories that'll get buried in the news. Yeah. And we got to make sure that we keep it out there.
Unfortunately, it's a lot of times the little blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl goes missing or found somewhere, and that's national news.
Yeah.
But then so many African-American kids go missing, and it doesn't even make a headline.
And so, like, what he's doing here is absolutely noble, and we'll learn later, definitely is why the case was solved. So I want to say this before, any fun we have about Alonzo and his looks and stuff, I just want to say the guy is an all-star, okay? But this is where it begins, because we're talking to him, and they're doing a B-roll of a recreation of Alonzo at home watching the news, discovering this. And they show that B-roll, and then we see his actual house. And this is where I say, B-roll, you're busted, because in the recreation, it's all darks. It's all blacks and browns and blues and greens, both in what he's wearing and his apartment. Kateline, describe for us what Alonzo Washington looks like when he's in the Alonzo cave. What is going on in there?
We see this shot of him at his computer, which is, I think, working on his newsletters, his comic books, all the stuff he puts out. Mm-hmm. And he's in like this pinkish, reddish, like robe, I guess.
Look, it is. I think Hugh Hefner would look at this robe and go, tone it down a little bit, my man.
It's a little ostentatious.
It is like a silk. It's got like the weird, it's like yellow and red, silkish. It's got collar. I mean, this is, I'll say right here, Kate, this is the shot that if we go to your text months ago, I said, oh my God, have I just found another nomination for What's This Guy's Story?
Absolutely.
And at the time, Kate, you said, but what if I don't think so? You're going to be so disappointed.
Oh.
And luckily, here we are. It delivered.
I thought so.
So he's in this insane robe at his computer, and he's sitting in a straight up gamer chair.
Yes.
Okay. And he's got a bobblehead of a comic book character that he created named Omega Man. Now, one of the most fascinating aspects of Alonzo Washington is we see the cover of his comic books a few times, and
he's on the cover, but not in comic form.
No, it's like, here is a comic starring Omega Man, his character, which Omega Man is already a thing. It was a movie that was pretty dope, involving Charlton Heston. Have you seen it, Kate? Probably not.
No, and I don't think Alonzo has either.
The last man on Earth is not alone.
But so there's Omega Man, a character he's drawn, and then with equal space on the page is a picture of him that he no doubt, well, he's married with kids, which is kind of shocking to me. Did you know that, Kate? Believe me, I did a deep dive on our boy Alonzo here. Because this photo to me is your profile pic for a dating site. Because he's leaning against a rock wall like he's giving sexy eyes to the cam, isn't it?
Well, we didn't read that issue of his comic book. Maybe it has something to do with the story.
Oh my God. This is where I friggin' lost it, because I'm just like, what? Why is there a picture of you on here, dude? Why?
I think it actually makes a lot of sense that he's married with kids. He seems like he'd be a really fun dad. And maybe the kids inspire his comic book stories.
Yeah, and I like to hear him tell it. He's like, so I had my comic book company publish an article or publish a story. And this is where I'm going, Alonzo, what's this? He doesn't really have a comic book company.
No, just like we don't really have a podcast company. We're all just doing our own thing.
Yeah.
I use my comic book company to make some comic books, trading cards, t-shirts, stickers, all those type of things to keep it in the public's mind.
I'm telling you, did you spot that bobblehead on the table?
I don't know that I did.
It was totally his character.
There was a lot going on.
Absolutely. I mean, I had to freeze it and look at it, and I noticed that he had a dual display going on where his laptop was off to the side, but it was just mirroring what his main screen had. So it was just two screens of the same page scrolling for us. I thought that was fun. What do you think?
Well, maybe he didn't have anything to put up there on both screens. I don't know. Maybe they caught him last minute.
Okay. All right. I just, if you're going to go to that trouble, I say throw something else up there. Another article that you might read later. Anyway, point is, this dude is busy. He's in his element. His pad look was just packed to the brim with colorful stuff. I mean, it
kind of is a little Kurt Cave-esque.
A little. You're right. It is a little Kurt Cave-esque. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I don't look that cool when I'm in my comfs, though. My comfs don't have collars, okay?
And you don't have a wife and kids.
Great point. So do you think that was like the main living room, or is that like his room? His wife is going like, oh, bro. I managed to get him to contain it to one room. Like, luckily.
It's probably his domain, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're dying to know the identification of this kid, and all parties assume that we're going to find out right away because a parent is going to go, oh, that's my 3-year-old that's been missing.
And I really thought we might have this wrapped up pretty quick, especially when somebody realizes they're missing a child. But boy, was I wrong.
They don't hear anything. So now Bernard is still on the scene. He's trying to get as much evidence as he can. He has police cadets come out to look for the head because they've got the body. They're looking for the head. And this was the first time where he talked to us Crime 101 when he describes what, Kate? Is he busts out luminol and he describes what luminol does and stuff. And he presents it in a way.
We had the crime lab come out and mix up some luminol, the chemical that luminesces with the hemoglobin in blood, and in the darkness it'll glow bright blue.
No shit, Dave. Right?
He acted like this was something that his force has at their disposal that's unique.
Yeah, and look, who knows, perhaps the producers told them to explain it like it's for the first time. But I will give him this. Have we ever seen luminol sprayed outside?
Outside. I don't think so. And he describes that they were able to use it to discover a whole trail.
A trail that is presented like it's a whoa dude, like, oh, here's great info. It didn't make sense to me until we found out the result at the end of the episode.
Yes.
It was a trail that led here, stopped, and then led somewhere else. And he was like, well, this tells me this was where they dropped the body and stuff. And I was like,
well,
okay.
But you know where they dropped the body because that's where you found it.
Yeah. I guess, so what he's saying is this is not where they disrobed and beheaded the child. Okay. All right. Fair. But it was wild to see luminol used outside.
And they said that she had been there a while. I'm surprised that rain hadn't washed anything away. Like, how many days are we talking here?
That is true. Enough to see a path places. Like you're saying, I would think rain or just a day's worth of wind would mix this up enough. But yeah, I mean, the body, it was at least sitting there for a few weeks. And so now is when he busts out his next big play. And go ahead and tell us about these dogs, Kate. Again, he had to describe what they do and how they do it.
He said we needed to bring out the canines to sniff and see if they could pick up on any kind of trail, where to find this head. And he explained that canines are dogs that work for the police and they help them find things.
Yeah, he goes, I had to get out some cadaver dogs. Now, these are dogs that are used to find dead bodies. Cadaver dogs. We got it, dude.
We got it. We didn't think you meant that the dogs were dead.
Right. Oh, I got him short of breath, Kate. That's really funny. Okay, so they're out there looking for head. They're finding nothing. People are bringing out teddy bears. They're doing like a memorial and stuff. They're just spreading the word. And this is where we learn that because we don't know the identity, they'll call a dead body with no name a Jane Doe or John Doe. And what's the name we've got for this gal, Kate?
They named her Precious Doe. which I think is really, really nice because while naming an unidentified body, Jane or John, is also nice, we've become accustomed to it. Mm-hmm. So it's not personal.
Right.
And I think maybe back in the day when they first started doing it, it did add a little personal touch. But this is like the town named her and they really started to care about identifying who this girl was and what happened to her. And by giving her a real name like that, I think it built a character around her. It humanized her.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It's kind of like when killers are given fancy names in papers, it's so people remember it more, right? Like a this killer or that killer. And I think in this case, it definitely personalized her.
Everybody took this little child to heart, and she was eventually given the name Precious Doe.
So much so that I feel like I've heard this case before. Now, I haven't looked yet. This might even be an FF. To be honest, this might be a later stage FF because I remember the heads that we're going to see, recreations of heads. We're not seeing real heads. Mm-hmm. But Precious Doe to me is something in the mind grape. So I feel like I've heard it before, but good on him because it definitely sticks with you. So we're looking for Precious Doe.
Were you saying it like Nurse Dana?
What do you mean?
Precious Doe.
Oh. Baby Jane Doe. Precious Doe. Yeah, I am now. Mm-hmm. I can't believe I didn't think of that.
Baby Jane Doe? She's looking good. She's looking good, taking formula well.
Okay, now this is an example of how much is going on with this episode, where this next thing we're going to tell you, they only spend no more than 2 minutes on. And that's that they've got like news teams are out there looking for the body because there's a lot of like groups of people looking for this head. It's a community effort. 4 days after the body was found, this old man with a cane shows up. It's early in the morning. He says, "Hey, everybody, I'm here to find this head. And I'm going to find this head because I saw it in a dream."
And they're like, "Okay, old man."
So he proceeded to go out there early that morning, and there happened to be a local news crew. And he told them, "Well, I'm here because I'm going to find a head." So they thought, well, we'll tag along and film him. That'll make a good story.
So the cameras follow him. Now, we don't see the footage. No, God, was I waiting.
This bummed me out because they talked all about how the news cameras were rolling the whole time. They followed him into the woods. And I'm like, great, where is it?
Yeah. So that's a bummer, but the retelling of it is insane. So he's walking around with a cane. Cameras are following him. And they're not following him for long when he hears a buzzing sound. So he goes over to a pile, and with his cane, he's poking this trash that is underneath like exposed mattress springs. We see a picture of it. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I feel something. I feel something in my cane. Yeah, that's an ear. That's an ear." And so he takes out the bag of trash that he was poking. And what's in there?
Precious Doe's head. He literally found it where the dream said it would be. So immediately cops were like, okay, well, he probably did it. Yeah. So let's figure out what his deal is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is where Bernard first brings in the FBI. And they right away say, we had the FBI do a whole thing on him. And like, look.
He was just one of those enigmatic figures that happens into a criminal investigative case every once in a while. Just a coincidence, nothing more.
And there's something to this story we're not being told. What do you think, Kate? There's a missing chapter here where he found the body the night before and then called the newspaper or something. Something's got to give here, Kate.
Maybe, but then they show the map of where they found the head compared to where they found the body, and anyone who went in there would have found it. It's like 20 feet from the body.
No, it's 200 feet.
Whatever. You see it on the map, and it's like all those people looking and no one found it. It's right next to it.
But the picture of the trash, it truly was mattress springs pushed into like a little ditch area.
It was.
You could not walk over the head.
But
right?
They said it was in a commonly known area that people dump stuff in.
It came upon what could be described as like a small dumping area for trash and rubbish.
So why didn't anyone check there first? We found a body. Where's the head? Let's check the known pile of garbage that's just a few feet away.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know what might be the thing that separates these two is that the search parties were not using a poker. I feel like the cane is what did it because he's poking through exposed springs. So I feel like maybe that's why people weren't in there digging and stuff.
I love that the cane, he could feel an ear through a cane.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he wasn't blind.
No.
I would totally get if a blind person using one of their canes, they can kind of sense the environment based on things that they're tapping, and, you lose one sense, your others are heightened. This is just an old guy with a cane. He's not blind.
Yeah.
So how was he like, yeah, that's an ear? Again,
it's crazy. And
we're missing something.
That's why I'm like the cop says, this is just one of those times. I don't know, dude. I need just a touch more. Like, they had to have asked him, did you find this last night? And you were worried that you'd be accused of it. So now you're going to do it with the news around. I would have bought anything because he friggin' knew. Mm-hmm. And was this the old man they were looking for on the first day when they found the body, Kate?
Oh, great call.
They didn't say.
They don't find the man.
He gets to wandering at night.
Boom. Friggin' boom. But he found the head. Insane. Now, because this is a show, a British produced show, I feel like if Dateline or something over here with a bigger budge, they'd have been able to find that news footage. We see some pictures of the scene, but I think those were probably supplied by Alonzo or something. Mm-hmm. I feel like if they were more able to connect with news over here, we could have seen that footage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe I'll save this for the end, but I feel like this story's due for an 1.5-hour doc on a Netflix or something. If we can get that real footage of the search and stuff, I feel like you could do a bigger thing with this. What do you think?
I think so. Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so the FBI says, no, unbelievably, that guy's not involved. So we let him go. Oh, so now the British teacher shows up, the guy who was like, the head is the identifier. Mm-hmm. The head is the face of someone. The face is the face of
The face
people.
Tells us what someone looks like.
Thanks, dude. Now, he does say something very interesting here. He says that cops, they get all sorts of kooks that come in. They get their psychics, they get people say they have a vision, and they've got to follow these leads at some point just to exhaust all leads.
Even though the police have to wade through a number of people who might tell you that they're psychics, mystics, you need people to come forward.
Remember that point later in the story, because he says, ultimately, it'll be local intelligence that will solve the crime. And I get what he's saying, and we'll remember this statement later when we find out when things are found out and stuff. But he is right about local intelligence. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Mm-hmm.
With this? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so no one's come forward, no parents. 8 months after the body was found, Marla Bernard had an action group, which is that a Facebook group?
Totally.
Wait,
it's gotta be.
Wait, this is pre-Facebook though, so maybe she didn't know that she was doing a Facebook group yet.
Oh, okay.
05 or like 02. I mean, that's pre-Facebook.
That's pre-Facebook by a lot.
There were 1,000 people in attendance at that funeral.
Okay, so Bernard has the FBI do a computer rendition of Precious Doe. And do you remember what Bernard's reaction was to this? This is first of 3 recreations of what her head might look like that we're going to get.
Yes.
He shot this thing down straight away going, she's too old.
Yes.
She had an earring, which she didn't have. And she also had clothes on, which she didn't have.
They also put an earring in her ear, which she didn't have. And they put clothes on her, which she didn't have.
Well, Bernard, I think it's okay we put clothes on the bus.
They're going to put clothes. I think what he meant was the clothes that she was wearing were just completely made up, and that they could have cropped it right at the head. So, because sometimes, like, if someone saw that and saw those clothes, they would be like, well, that doesn't look like the shirt of this girl that I know that went missing or whatever. I think that's what he meant.
Good point.
To crop it and not show like this purple shirt. But
yeah,
I would agree, she was too old. And
okay, well, we can't talk yet because we haven't found the body. We haven't found the head yet, so maybe we save this.
No, but they said they think.
I disagree with you 1,000%, Kate.
They said they think, according to the body, that she would have been 3 or 4, and that to me looked like an 8-year-old.
Okay, I mean, we'll wait, but I couldn't do. I think I'm just gonna say it. I'm not even gonna say it. I'm tempted. I'm gonna keep the words in my mouth, keeping them in. But I mean, he's right though. Why are you adding the earring?
Yeah.
That I agree with. The clothes, I hear your point, and now that you say it, it's kind of like, yeah, just started at the neck, if anything, because people will latch on to that.
But no earrings. Just leave that alone, especially if, I mean, we don't know, they didn't say, but when they found her head, were her ears even pierced?
No, he says so. He says they were not pierced.
Then don't put earrings on there.
Great call there. So I'm with him there. So that does not get any traction. They release it to the news media. Nothing happens.
So what? I have a question regarding these 3 different versions, recreations. Mm-hmm. Why? I assume when they found it, they photographed it at the lab. Did they not use those photographs to help inform these recreations?
Well, they did say that the body was too decomposed for anything like that.
Even in the head?
Yeah, I think so, because that's like the bugs and stuff. I feel like they did mention it was enough along the stage of decomposition where it did not help.
Okay. Because I was finding this very frustrating.
4 months after that, they decide, we'll send this info to a forensic sculptor who put clay on a skull, and Bernard hated this one too. He said it looks like a doll.
This looks so much like a little doll as opposed to a real human, but that was my opinion.
What do you remember this middle one?
I do. Terrifying.
So next thing they do, he says, now he takes it back to the FBI and they do a 3D rendering of the skull and then put markers on the skull to indicate like depth of the skin and musculature and whatnot.
And this was her actual skull too.
Yes, but this is where I take... That's what a forensic sculptor does as well. This is covered on many FFs. I've seen countless FFs where they put it's like they study based on the history of the body, like the density of their skin, and they put little stickers all over the skull. I've seen it done, and that's what a forensic sculptor does. So I don't...
Well, I think maybe they were like, this forensic sculptor is terrible. Let's do it again. We don't have the money, so we'll have it done digitally because the physical sculpting turned out bad.
All right. And when they unveil this third one, this is not our second sculpture, but our third look at Precious Doe, we hear it from Bernard, we get gasps. The crowd, the press conference, there are people gasping at how realistic it looks.
They couldn't believe how lifelike it was. Now, I didn't think it looked lifelike, but I did think it looked probably the most human.
I remember when we unveiled it to the media, I remember people just gasp because how lifelike it looked.
The color was weird, though. Why was everything still beige? They didn't colorize it.
Well, this is where I think the second one and the first sculptor went wrong, is because they decided to throw paint on the face. And even, like, the head sculptor-wise looked fine, but they threw on... It's like they had 5 colors they could use, or less than that. Mm-hmm. This is where the mistake was with the first sculptor, where it's like, of course it looks like shit. They just threw brown paint on and made her eyes blue. Like, it looks like a kid painted this.
Yeah.
And this third one that people love so much is the color of the fucking clay. Like, if you had painted that the same way as the other one, we would have been laughing at it too. What do you think?
If you had done it the same way as the second one, yeah. Why couldn't they get a realistic one?
A realistic, like, painter?
Why couldn't they have painted it realistically?
I think... I don't know the answer to that. I feel like when they do it, the sculptor is like, well, the hard part's done. This part doesn't matter. When it's like, ooh, dude, no, you can be concerned about this because this is going to make or break it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you, though. I mean, because it did look like it was straight up like spray paint. It did not, there was absolutely no texture or like shading.
The lips were just all one color.
Yeah. So now this third one, people are loving it. It looks human. It looks lifelike. They send that out, and this one did get leads. First two did not. This gets leads, but they all go nowhere. So 4 years pass. We're not getting anything. And Alonzo, bless him, he's trying to keep this in the news, right?
He's still, with all 3 of these renderings, he was putting them on t-shirts and stickers and getting them out there and putting it in the newsletters and stuff. And he doesn't stop.
Yeah. And he has a press conference on the anniversary of the finding of the body, the 4-year anniversary, and he takes out a full page ad in the Call, he says, which is an African-American newspaper. And he says people are hating on him at the press conference. Like, this didn't work last time. Why are you doing it now and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
April 13th, 2005, Alonzo gets a call early on a Saturday morning. And he gets this tip.
So on the phone is this guy with what Alonzo described as an insane Southern accent, like so cartoony thick. And he's saying, I know who that girl is, and I know who killed her. And it's my grandson and his wife down here in Oklahoma.
He also says, with the Southern accent, he says it sounded like an old-time jazz blues singer.
Mm-hmm. Which I thought was cool.
Absolutely. And I could hear the kind of voice he's talking about.
They made assumptions about him. He had a very thick Southern accent. He sounded like an old jazz blues singer or something. He said, they think I'm crazy.
But he says, well, what's up? Haven't you called the cops? This is the bummer of this. He's like, I did.
I keep calling them and they tell me to f*** off. Now,
they hang up on him.
Because he's not calling Kansas City. He's not calling Bernard. He's calling the Oklahoma cops.
You don't know that. I mean, he might be calling the...
If he had called Bernard, he would have run down that. Absolutely. I think he didn't know who to call, and he was just calling his local police.
Okay, this is interesting, Kate, because to me, this kind of showed the flaw in Bernard's aspect where they're doing everything they can, but everything that they were doing was kind of superficial. We're putting teddy bears at the memorial site. We're spreading the word. We're praying for him. We're having funerals. But they ignore this call that came in. They have to listen to psychics and stuff. Whoever's on their tip line, I don't think Bernard ever heard about this tip. But I think that this guy called into the tip line and they said he sounds like some crazy old kook. Let's just forget it.
Maybe, but I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt because of how much they talked about. Like, this case almost ruined Bernard's life. He doing nothing but working this case.
I mean, he and Marla split up at one point.
It's classic. It's either me or this job.
You're in too
It's
deep.
tearing this family apart, and it tore that family apart for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly back together, but she even pinpoints the moment when she knew that it was too much.
He referred to Precious Doe as our little girl, and I knew that he had crossed a line. He never made cases personal.
Okay, so Alonzo says, all right, this sounds like a good tip, but here's what you need to do. Send me a sample of your daughter-in-law or your granddaughter-in-law's hair, and I'll press the cops to do a DNA test on it.
This is wild. I cannot believe that Alonzo had an in so much with the cops that they would even consider this when it's a sample that they did not collect.
Right. Yeah. And well, first thing we got to credit to is this old guy. I think his name was Thurman McIntosh.
Alonzo asked the man named Thurman McIntosh what he knew.
It's a great name for this guy.
Of course. I mean, as soon as they said his first name was Thurman, I was like, of course it is.
Now, let's give him credit. They say next day he gets something in the mail. There's no way we have to remember Thurman McIntosh got this hair sample. How? I want to know how he got this hair sample.
And then sent it in the mail. It was not the next day. I wouldn't be surprised if it took weeks.
How do you think he got this sample? Like, do you think he got it from a comb? Did he walk up to her and pull it out? Like, how do you think Thurman McIntosh got this hair sample?
I don't know. It could have been a comb. Who knows? He might have even said, like, give me your hair.
Maybe. So he sends this, and now this is an extra tidbit where I can answer your question here, is Alonzo held a press conference and publicly challenged the police to test this DNA.
Okay.
That's how it got done.
Because I'm thinking, in what world would this ever happen? And then it makes sense that it was pressure from the community. But then the craziest part is that they get a result like in a week, and I'm like, they're usually like, oh, this takes months.
Right. Yeah. Hey, look, you know what? You want to give Bernard some credit? I'd say maybe that's on him. He's there. Yeah. He's going, no, this is the front of the line, top of the list, test this friggin' hair. And Alonzo gets a call from Bernard himself. And what does Bernard tell him?
It's a match.
It's a friggin' match. This
Precious
is a friggin'
Doe
match.
is the daughter of that guy's
yeah.
granddaughter-in-law.
He said that his grandson was the killer of Precious Doe. He said her mother was his grandson's wife.
So now Bernard sends a team of detectives down to Oklahoma to interview these suspects. While that's happening, Alonzo's looking what else is in here, this little care package that Thurman McIntosh sent him. It's a friggin' picture of Precious Doe and a name. Mm-hmm. And who is Precious Doe?
Erica Green. And she's adorable.
Absolutely adorable. And we're going to hear the history of Erica Green in a second. But now is when I want to say emphatically, I think this picture of the real Erica Green looks like the computer one that they did first. I think it most looks like that girl. I think it looks the exact age as that computer thing. And other than the earring and the clothes, I think it was dead on. What do you think?
I don't know. She's half that age, though. It looks like an 8-year-old.
I could not disagree more. I feel like that face looks like the face we see, and it looks like, I mean, maybe she looks older than a 3 or 4-year-old Kate, but I'm telling you, I'm going to do it for the whole heads when I do a little video of this, but her real face looks the most like that out of the 3, I think, by a landslide.
Okay.
So we learn the bummer history of Erica Green. She's born in 1997 to a mother while she was in prison. And she goes to live with a friend of her grandmother's, Betty Brown. And she has a good solid 3 years with this Betty Brown. She lives there.
Yep. And she flourishes. She's got a good life. She's well taken care of. She loves getting dressed up.
She liked to carry little purses and wear hats when she went to church.
But this was this floored me a little, is that we talked to Marla, the wife of the detective and the one in charge of the...
When she said she was well fed.
Yes, this is it. The first thing she says about this little girl, who we see and looks standard little girl, you couldn't even call her chubby or chunky or anything. She's nowhere near anywhere that. But the first word she says is...
Erica was a well-fed child. She was a very robust-looking little girl.
Marla, what?
I think, yeah, it comes off bad, but I have to think that maybe she just meant she looked healthy and taken care of and like really lively, because all they knew of her was a body and a head and then just a lifeless rendering. But to see her in that photo looking alive and well, I think she used the wrong terminology there.
Definitely. And it's after that when she says the other stuff, what she likes to watch on TV. She loves to go to church dressed up. I just want to...
Oh, she likes Barney.
And something else, but that's going to be on somebody's list.
Okay.
But definitely Barney and another thing. Oh, she could spell her own name. That was cute. I love all these little details. She should have led with that and the purses and the hats and the church and stuff instead of a robust, well-fed child.
So a fatty.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, here's the bummer thing. It's a little bit before Erica's 4th birthday. Mom gets out of prison, comes to pick her up. I don't know why, because this poor child is only alive for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then this happens.
3 weeks later, Erica Green was brutally murdered.
This child was loved, except for the 3 weeks when she was in her mother's custody.
Clearly, her mom didn't want to be a mother.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't understand why she went to go pick her up. I don't think it wasn't like official foster care where legally now she had to be returned to the mother. This was a friend of her grandmother's. So she could have stayed there.
Yeah, and I read an article about it after that, the time that she was there for those 3 weeks, she was crying a lot and homesick, as in for Betty Brown, this woman that she knew as her mother since day 3 of her life.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. So we also see mugshots of these two, and it's Michelle and Harrell Johnson. So they're the ones being interviewed. And when Alonzo, this was also in the care package, by the way. So, God, Thurman, maybe he's the all-star, okay? He sends a sample of the hair. He sends what her name is. He sends a picture of her, the only known picture, I think, of Erica Green. And then he also sends pictures of his grandson and the grandson's wife. And what does Alonzo say when he sees Michelle, the mom?
When I opened that package and saw the woman in the picture, I was like, that's her. Because I saw her at the vigil, the very first vigil.
You would think, like, well, how do you remember her 4.5 years later? But he said, no, I remember her because she was, like, really upset and weird. And it
looked like she was about to pass out.
It all struck us as strange. And we didn't really know who she was.
Well, yeah. I mean, she was just a sad lady at this vigil. It's not like they can really act on it. But he says, I know her.
But then they found out that she was actually living there at the time, right near where the body was found.
We get the scoop because they arrest him, right? And the cops are trying to break him down. Harrell, evil monster, doesn't crack. He doesn't say a damn thing, but Michelle does crack. And we hear from Michelle what happened with Erica. Would you like to describe Erica's last night?
I guess she, like we heard before, was crying, was upset, and wouldn't stop. Harrell kicked her.
Yeah, kicked her and hit her head, and they went over to her body and they said her eyes were rolling in the back of her head. And this is where Bernard says they could have taken her to a hospital and she might have lived, but they let her lay there till she died. I know how long they let her lay there.
How long?
2 full days.
I thought you were going to say 2 hours.
No, 2 full days. They lived with this other woman who was like, I heard a giant thud in the night, and they said, oh, they hit something on accident. And then when she would ask, where's Erica? They'd say, oh, she's sick. She's laying down. That body laid in there for 2 days.
Oh, my God.
Horrible. Freaking horrible.
If she had been given medical attention, she may have survived, but they did not. They let the little girl languish on the floor until she eventually died.
We hear a background on Harrell. A documented history of violence that includes a time where in order to get a ring from a woman, he cut her finger off. I mean, obviously, we know he's cruel. He's kicking a baby to death and letting it sit there for days.
Right. But Michelle thought, I like this guy.
Okay.
I think he should be around my young daughter, who I don't even really know.
I agree with you. I don't want it to come across like I'm defending Michelle. However, to me, the true evil here is Harrell for a lot of reasons. And I think that Michelle, I mean, again, and they say this in the show, that countless people that were abused as kids and went through drug addiction, they lived their lives without kicking a baby to death. Mm-hmm. So it is possible. I want to go harder at Harrell than Michelle because she was a product, like she was screwed from the jump, right? I mean, she had also been traumatized. And and we don't know what Harrell had done to her. Yeah. I mean, to me, it's not that Michelle fell in love with this Harrell guy. It's like Harrell had his hooks in her. I could be presupposing a lot here. I just think like if Harrell wasn't around, this would not have happened to this baby. Mm-hmm. Michelle didn't say, I'm going to kick this baby to death and leave it. It's like she's around while her own abuser kicks her kid to death and says, we're going to leave it and stuff. Again, she needs to go to prison and stuff. But do you see where I'm coming from?
Yeah. But he didn't stop at just kicking her.
Well, no, because now they've got this dead body after 2 days, and they've got to get rid of it. So they're like, well, we're going to go toss it. But first things first, what is the identifier of a body? What is it?
What is the symbolic identifier?
The face is who we are.
They've got to get rid of this head. What do they use? This is gruesome. This is friggin' gruesome. Hedge clippers.
Yes.
Freaking hedge clippers.
It was decided that they would remove her head, which Harrell did with a pair of hedge clippers in the backyard.
How they were able to stomach that, I have no idea. Like, I've heard so many stories of people trying to like cut bodies up. It's always harder than you think it's going to be.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And hedge clippers, that's such a
hedge clippers.
They can be sharp, but in the general sense, that's a blunt instrument. He was going to be chopping for a while.
Yeah, like that's just this. They look like giant scissors, right? So he's. Yeah. I guess it's because she was a small child, but this is so freaking gruesome. And it turns out Bernard was right. They took the body across the street to the woods. They dumped the body, came back, and said, "Oh, somebody's going to find that." They went back, took the head, double bagged it, and then took that somewhere else, which was 200 feet away. Mm-hmm. But that's what, and they just left it there.
And then went back to their house that was just down the street.
Yeah, just lived there. I mean, obviously it was weighing on Michelle. She's going to the vigil and stuff. Marla really comes from Michelle in a way when she's like, mother to mother, I just think it's this and this and this, and I don't know.
My opinion of Michelle Johnson, there are no words really to say the contempt that I have for what she did, mother to mother, for a child.
That article I read with the roommate that lived with them, she said she would see, I think she had moved out or something, but they would see the flyers for this Precious Doe around town, and she would tell her, that looks like Erica. That looks like Erica. And the Michelle would say, it's not. Erica's fine.
But wasn't the roommate like, okay, but where is she?
That's why I say she had to have been moved out at this point. Because I would have been like, okay, she's been sick for months now, girl. Like, can we see her? But she also, like, she also said that Harrell would say things like, you better shut that baby up or I'm going to do something about it. Stuff like that.
What a good guy.
Yeah, she gets a plea deal, which the way they presented it, I was like, great. What are they going to tell us?
So we were forced into a situation of having some plea negotiations with Erica's mother, Michelle.
But she gets 25 years. I think that's fair. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah.
She gets second-degree murder, 25 years. Harrell goes to trial, stone-faced. He doesn't give a about any of this. Life without parole.
Good.
Yeah. All right, so that brings us to the end here. I'm trying to think if there was extra bonus stuff. Oh, there is. But I'm going to wait till after the list to tell you that last little tidbit. Kate, what do you got?
Kate's unnamed list. Nothing.
Yeah, I don't think, yeah. Okay,
but
on to, what's up?
I did want to point out maybe the funniest thing for me in the whole episode. It could be my favorite part. Mm-hmm. Something happened that I had to rewind and rewatch 3 times. Peepable.
What? What's this? What's this now?
Bernard said, you never know what peepable are capable of. And I said, what did he say?
One more time?
Let's bring that back.
It's never surprised me what peepable are capable of.
Peepable. I died laughing.
Peepable.
Wow. I didn't catch it. I didn't freaking catch it. That's hilarious.
It's near the end. You'll find it.
That's really funny. On to Kurt's Kick-Ass List.
Kick-Ass List.
2 things. They are what Erica Green loved to watch. 1, Barney, and 2, Teletubbies.
Oh, yeah.
She liked the TV show Barney. She liked Teletubbies.
Takes you back. Yeah. Now, Teletubbies, I think, are getting a resurgence because of the 28 Years Later movies. Have you seen either of those new ones?
No. I've seen the old ones.
Okay, well, the Teletubbies play a role.
Do you not know the Teletubbies? Oh, they're glorious. They had televisions on their tums. And on television, they viewed themselves, but with another television on their tums.
But anyway, Erica loved that. And that's it for my list. Okay, so I was reading articles and stuff because I had to know more about our boy Alonzo.
I was just remembering that, I guess it was on Vine. You remember that Teletubbies Vine?
Mm-mm.
Tinky Winky, Tiggly, and motherfucking Poe. You'll have to look it up.
You'll have to look it up if you want it in there.
Okay.
If you want it in there, yeah.
Just I'll find it, and you can just add whenever we say Teletubbies, you can add that.
Okay, and Tug or
I don't remember.
Okay.
We're talking Teletubbies. Tinky Winky, Dipsy, and motherfucking Poe.
All right, so I found this article that Alonzo wrote, and he says, many folks ask me what gives me the bravery to go to these deadly crime scenes alone. I'm going to give you a guess, Kate. What do you think it is that allows him to go to these crime scenes alone?
Well, the crime already happened, so you're not in any danger.
Good point. So is that your guess? As in, you shouldn't be scared?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, it's the power of the martial arts.
Oh. He's trained.
He's very trained in weapons and many forms of it. He subscribes to the Bruce Lee thing where you can't have just one focus. Okay, I looked it up and I was like,
smart.
What's a funny? I was like, I really just want to say karate or something because that's funnier than martial arts. But he made a point to list all of them: Krav Maga, Jiu-Jitsu, Jaikan,
Hapkido,
all the stuff. He freaking does it. Does that not? That just screams Alonzo Washington to me when you see the B-roll of him in his gamer chair and his silk robe. I was like, of course he's into karate. Of course he is.
Of course.
And on that note, I'm Kurt Money.
I'm Kateline.
People are capable of.